show that we are doing from the Crowtail Story Room. We're all about stories, so we're going to have an interesting conversation with Paddy and the story of her life and what do we get to learn from it. Let me just very quickly share with you something about Paddy before we get on to this conversation. I have known Paddy for more than about 2 years. I know Paddy, and she's one of the most inspiring persons that you can meet. A biker, somebody who's a rebel, who's broken all the kinds of norms and lives life absolutely to the fullest. Whatever she thinks of, she just goes after it. And what they say is, you find life beyond 50, and here is a person, Paddy, who is really rocking beyond 50. So this story is an interesting conversation. There's a lot of inspiration I'm sure all of us are going to get, and a lot of things that we get to learn from the story of Paddy. Paddy, so to start with, the story of you and your journey, I know it from where you began to what you have become. I've seen your pictures before, and what Paddy is today. It's not just the looks, it's complete transformation as a person. So take us through your story and your journey, Paddy.
First of all, Sanjay, thank you so much for having me as your very first storyteller on Crow Tales, and it is with immense joy that I'm here today speaking to all of you all and sharing my story through Sanjay with the world. Because I do believe that each one of us here is to give back in some way or the other, maybe just through our stories. I have been inspired by the stories of so many people around me, and I would love for that to happen for our spectators. And I'm very grateful to Sanjay for giving me this opportunity to share my story. And maybe today I'm going to share something that I have not really shared before, some dark stories of my life, or just dark experiences of my life, so-called dark. I wouldn't really call them dark today, but I would want to do that today because I want each and every one of you all there to know that life is happening for us and not to us, and especially the women out there. And I want you all to know that there is nothing that can stop you other than your own thoughts or your own beliefs about yourself. So to start off with my story, I come from a big family. I am the sixth of 6 daughters to my parents, and my parents worked very hard to raise the 6 of us, to give us a great life, to give us the values, to give us everything that we are today. And I went through, early on in my life, when I was 17, I went through an incident which changed the entire course of my life. When I was sexually abused by 3 men when I was in college, and I was told that I was being punished for being an extremely arrogant girl. That day when I was returning home, I was telling myself that what a coward you are, Padmaja. You're supposed to be going and killing yourself. You should throw yourself on the railway tracks, which is right behind my college. But I was still, my legs were taking me towards my home, and I was telling myself, you don't have the courage to kill yourself. You're so shameless. And after that day, I got so fearful, I stopped attending college because I was worried what a bad name I would bring to my family. And constantly I was on the run. After that, I stopped going to college. I used to go and sit in the library to study, but eventually that was not enough, and I flunked my 12th standard.
Paddy, just one before you move ahead. The experience of what you went through, those dark moments, when you said it's not dark. So first of all, I don't understand why do you not call it? I mean, it's a phase that you normally would call it a dark moment of life, but you also somewhere say that that's not a dark moment. So what is it that you mean by that thing?
That's a very good question. That I'm glad you stopped me because here I want to tell my friends out there who may have gone through similar experiences in life and who feel that they have been victims to such situations. I in fact like to look at those 3 people and that particular situation as a blessing in disguise, because if it was not for that incident, and if it was not for that shamelessness that made me continue living, I wouldn't have been who I am today. I have no anger on those men who abused me, because the anger needs to be directed, or rather, anger is nothing but a call to action. Anger springs from within us when we are not doing something that we need to do. Is how can I change society? How can I teach parents to bring up their sons and daughters so that they treat each other respectfully? That is where we need to focus our anger on, or our action on. They did what they were raised to do. They were raised to look at women in this way, that women are supposed to be in this particular way. So there is no point in fighting against men as such. We have to fight against a system that is not being addressed at all. How are parents raising their children? When they are raising a son and raising a daughter in the same household, is he being raised to believe that he can do whatever he wants, and a daughter to believe that she needs to be fearful, she needs to stop herself from doing anything that she wants to do because there is a bad world out there? It's so contradictory, right? So I do believe that it was because of this particular experience, because I was running away the rest of the next few years of my life was me running away from the shame that I was carrying, that I did something bad, though it was not my mistake. I came from a society which believed that it's always the girl's mistake, right? And I was trying to hide and to life. I woke up to the decision to live life rather than to succumb to my fate, so-called fate, right? And that was the journey which set me exploring who I truly am. What is it that I want to do? Why am I running away constantly from life? The very factors that made me run through life now made me stop, stand still and look inward and to figure out my answers for myself. People started coming into my life, left, right and center, who were taking me to exactly where I was meant to go. My life today, it has been a series of meant to be happen moments, meant to happen moments. Every moment, I cannot even say that one particular incident or one moment was not meant to be. If you ask me if I want to change anything from my past, I will say no. I want it completely and wholly, because that every single incident, every up and every down of my life is what has made me who I am. Life is, what if this happens and what if that happens? What if I'm not safe? What if something happens to me? Instead of that, you start living in a state of wonder. You start living in a state of, now what? Bring it on. Let me see now what life has.
And I know Paddy for doing this time and again. For example, I know the fact that if you decide to travel to a place, you can just pick up your car overnight and you just go. So if you decide something now, you're a person who will just get off and get onto it, and you have driven all across, right? You've taken your car all alone.
Absolutely.
Traveled to the so you're a person who's actually these incidents I've seen
absolutely
have actually made you to become this kind of a person who just takes it on the life as it comes.
Absolutely, and I want to give you some examples of situations in my life when magically I have manifested things without having to worry about earning the money to buy it or to create it myself. For example, I ran a restaurant in Dehradun for 5 years. I just had the thought one day, it was 15th of August 2015, when I had the thought that I have to serve good food, because I was living in an area where there were colleges around. I was looking at the students eating, food that was maybe not very good for their health, and I said I would give them something good. It grew to such a proportion that I eventually set up a restaurant. I didn't have a penny, because I was very stubborn about something that I want it. I don't stop to think, will it happen, will not happen, will it not happen, is it good, what if this? I don't even give scope for those ideas. I don't know, maybe I'm wired that way. I sometimes ask myself, is this a disability or a super ability?
What is this that keeps you that excited about taking a bike and just getting off on the road in the toughest of terrains, or taking a car out and just landing up at places, or doing stuff that is absolutely crazy and amazing? Paddy, tell us this craziness about Paddy.
I think each one of us has this craziness in us. It is just that, like I said, I don't know whether it is a super ability or otherwise, which just makes me live what I want. I would say that my life began after 50.
Wow.
I'm 52 plus today. So it was only after that I really started going after every single thing that I've ever wanted to do. And I realized that, so what if I'm 50? What is in a number? And okay, my body is aging, I can see I'm aging or whatever it is, but let the body do its body thing, and my soul wants to do its soul thing, right? And I have decided that even if I have to, like when I went on this bike trip to Leh, I just did Leh last year, and I was riding solo on my bike on a 500cc Royal Enfield, which was a little too high for me, and I had a couple of close shaves, which is really scary. But I'm happy to feel that let me die when I'm doing something that I love doing. It's okay, we're all going to die anyway, right? Why not make that journey towards death an enjoyable one? One that is, I have been a person who's been on her own quest. Let me share another interesting fact that as a child, I shut myself in a room in front of the mirror, and I used to imagine that all the spotlights are on me, that I'm a celebrity and the whole world is watching me. At that time, I didn't realize that, what is watching me is my own consciousness, me, the God in me. Is my life that is panning out is as a result of the kind of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and emotions that I carry within myself. And I lived in this fantasy world. I want to tell every one of our spectators that please live in fantasy sometimes. It is okay to fantasize about things. Don't bring a logical mind in between. It doesn't cost you to think anything.
You dream.
Yeah.
And 1 month later, the dream is here.
Absolutely. I really like this thought. On this note, I want to again reiterate that very powerful part of the book from Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, when she says, ideas and inspirations are like virus and bacteria that are floating around looking for a mind that is resonating with what they intend to manifest. And they need us, they need human beings to come into being, because the sole intention of an idea or an inspiration is to become manifest into the materials. My most important takeaway from my own life is that your life will start shaping up for you the moment you stop living or playing the role of a victim. When you're pointing your fingers outside there, you're giving that entire world out there the power to treat you the way they want to treat you.
Absolutely, beautifully said.
The world will do its own thing. You choose what feels right for you, what you want to do. And I'm telling you, Sanjay, the day you stand up for yourself, the day you decide that no matter what, I'm going to follow my heart, the world will start shifting and reshaping itself to receive you with all your gifts and for you to give it out. Then don't ever doubt in the abundance of this universe that every nook and corner, the universe is just waiting for you to take a stand for yourself, to give you what you need. Absolutely. To go ahead. So this is my message to one and all, not only my fellow sisters out there, it's for one and all. I would say that look at fear as an ally, not as an enemy.
Yeah.
Your challenges, your fears, your limitations are all your allies which are just trying to push you to become what you are resisting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, Paddy, for this beautiful conversation. A very unplanned conversation that has happened out here.
Yeah.
The first at the Crow Tales story room. We have on the camera on the other side Reshma, who's recording this, who is my co-founder at Crow Tales, and this is really an amazing
Why don't
experience.
we invite Reshma on
Yeah,
the stage?
Reshma, come on this side just before we
I
close.
won't fit in the frame though.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, you just come in here and just show yourself up, because
Yeah, we want you to.
yeah. So that's Reshma who's recording it, and we are out here having stories and conversations. Invite all of you to come down to the Crow Tales story room over a cup of coffee. Let's have stories and conversations and shape our lives, our business, and our dreams to come alive. Thank you.